one question: is there any way to tell how many views you got on an Instagram page?
There is, but you require third-party service to do that. There's no analytics within Instagram. The only analytics you do within Instagram are the likes, the hearts. But if you want to see how many people actually viewed your photos, you need, like I said, it's a third-party service. There's a couple of them. One that I like is called Statigram. STATIGR.am. It's a free service. It's quite brilliant. And it did one thing really nice that Instagram now does for you, was gave you an actual URL for your Instagram photos, so people could follow you from the web, which was nice. You used to not be able to do that. But it has like a ton of features. That's the one that I like. I've looked at others and I thought they were just really douchey, covered in ads and lame. Statigram seems to be the nicest one. You can find other users that way too. One of the newest features of Instagram, like I mentioned, is that Statigram did, still does, is Instagram now has public profile pages. So you can actually go to instagram.com/your username, and you can share that as a link on your blog, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your social media icon, wherever you put those, and wherever you like. So for example, if you've got a computer or web browser open, you can go to instagram.com/Don Burnside, and you'll see my Instagram feed. All of them are there. It's a really nice looking page that you can send people to. And then from there, you can actually follow that person if you're logged into Instagram. So it's pretty cool for discovery when you're at your desk. And you don't want to look it on your phone, or you don't want to look at them super uber compressed and ugly on Facebook. Yeah, see, pretty cool. Yes.
Is there a such thing as oversharing or posting too many pictures, especially from a business sense?
There are. You end up with followers on Instagram, and you have to spread the word, and you get people to follow you. And much like how some people will use Twitter as a blog, where somebody will sit there and they'll run out of space and they send it, and then they'll do another one, and they send it, and they'll do another one, and they send it, and they do 5 or 6 posts all at once. People do that on Instagram as well. And so it's always best to give a bit of a break. Every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, depending. Maybe you need to do rapid fire images because you're at an event and just, oh my God, I have to share all this with Instagram.
But you don't want to make it a daily.
Yeah, you don't want to do it that way all the time.
Right.
Definitely not. On the personal level, I try to stick to like once or twice a day.
Right.
And there's no time limits on Instagram either. Like, on Facebook, everybody says, oh, you have to post at the optimal times to get the best engagement. Instagram, it's not that way because people will be standing online at the fast food at the library or whatever, and they'll just open up Instagram. I do this all the time, so does my girlfriend. And just scroll through and see what's happening on Instagram. It's a nice little time passer.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's a nice picture, and I like it. But yeah, you can do that. You can also over tag. Instagram, like Twitter, allows you to use hashtags. So if you go to Instagram, for example, on your phone, and you search TechPHX, you'll see all the photos that have been tagged TechPHX so far. There are some people that will game the tagging system. And they'll post in words like sexy, or sex, or boobs, or bikini on a picture of a car. And then they'll put like 3,000 tags below it too. And I think that's overkill. You should be more specific. You said, oh look, this is a picture of a car. I'll tag it car. Maybe it's a red car. I'll tag it red and car.
It's a red sexy car.
If it's a red sexy car in a bikini, which Jeff actually owns, a red sexy car in a bikini, then by all means. I mean, make sure if you're doing hashtags, make sure they're relevant to the content
It's
of
not
the
like
photo.
Toyota, Nissan, Tetra, all that.
You don't need to go crazy.
Yeah.
You really don't, because it doesn't help. It might, but it doesn't makes it weird when you look at Instagram. Instagram also doesn't have, unlike Twitter, doesn't have a text limit when you post words. So you can post a comment on your Instagram that's more than 140 characters. But keep in mind that if you share that with Twitter, all those words aren't going to go through, because there has to be room for the link plus your comment. So and hashtags if you have them. Exactly. So I try to think of using Instagram like it's Twitter. So I try to keep my comments, my descriptions at less than 140 characters. Usually it's like 1 or 2 words. I just give the photo a name or some comment. And that works really well. Another feature of Instagram that a lot of people don't know about is you can actually reshare photos. On every photo that you see, you'll see 3 little dots going forward. And if you touch that, it gives you the option to share. You can tweet the photo. I think is about the only way to do it. Maybe reshare it in your own feed. But you can actually reshare others' photos. So if you follow, let's say you follow Starbucks, for example, and they post a picture of what has to be the best latte you have ever seen in your entire life. You go, oh, I must have this, and I must share this with all of my followers. You can actually do that. Not only that, but unless your account's protected, you can actually have others do that with your stuff too. So if you took a picture of what is probably the best latte you ever had, because you had it over at Liberty Market, and then somebody else saw it and goes, oh my God, that's amazing, I can show it to all my friends. And then they can do that as well. Yes?
Does that work if you're a private account?
I don't think it works if you're a private account.
How do
It
you
also
know?
doesn't work on Android.
Oh, really?
What is on?
Oh, that's
You can
the resharing?
You can.
You can share photos on Android?
Doesn't matter what version of Android you're on.
It never works for me. The only thing that comes up when I hit the little three things is flag is inappropriate.
Wow,
You have,
okay.
you have to like isolate the picture by itself.
Yeah, you have to be looking at the picture itself.
And you can't be in your feed doing it, you have to like go to the person's account,
Yeah.
click on the photo by itself, and then you can share it.
Oh, great tip.
Actually, I would just get flag is inappropriate.
Okay. So your mileage may vary if you're on Android. Sam actually brought up a really good point though. Is one of the things you can do with Instagram, much like Twitter, let's say you want to take pictures, but you want to be selective with who you share your photos with. You want to make sure that you know exactly who your followers are. You can actually set up your account to be private, which is nice. Then you just say, hey mom, I'm on Instagram, and then you make your mom have an Instagram account, and then only your mom will see your photos. Or whoever you specify, whoever you allow in.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like, is there a way to know or track or anything like that? And then go to the picture?
No, not that I'm aware of. Possibly with a third-party service like Statagram. As I've never had one of my photos shared because nobody does it. I don't think anybody knows that feature really exists. So I'm hoping one day that happens. There might actually be like on Facebook. There might be some kind of a notification that your photo was shared.
So if you're on Twitter and you tweet it, then
Well, you'll get
already
Yeah, and that's a good point there too. It's a really good idea that your Instagram and Twitter handles are the same. So that if somebody, so let's say that you post to Twitter, and then somebody retweets your photo, that it's actually on the correct name. I had that problem where my Twitter handle and my main Twitter handle and my Instagram handle don't match. So I get retweets from Twitter account. That's just because I set it up wrong. Good idea to do that. Or if it's for your brand, obviously you want to have the same Twitter account. For example, mine's called White Roof Radio. It's a podcast about Vancouver's. So our Twitter account is White Roof Radio. Our Instagram account is White Roof Radio. You know, and it makes it easier for people to find you. So if whatever your brand name is, if you use that as your vanity URL, that's just best practice type stuff. So it should be facebook.com, your brand name, Twitter, your brand name, G+, your brand name when they get that one.
Something new they just started doing too, though, is they'll translate, if you have your Twitter account hooked up to Instagram,
Yeah.
they'll translate your Instagram name to your Twitter name.
Oh, they will.
If you reply someone,
Oh,
so for
that's
example,
awesome.
If Sammy is just Sammy on Instagram,
Yeah.
but she's something else on Twitter,
Yeah.
then if you say @Sammy on Instagram and she has her Twitter account connected, it'll translate @Sammy to whatever her Twitter name is.
Oh, that is
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Just
Mine
started,
are different.
yeah, they
Yeah.
just started doing that a couple weeks ago.
Well, like Facebook about a month ago, they started registering likes on your Facebook account if you log in on Facebook. So if you get a like on your picture in Instagram, it'll show up as a red 1 on your Facebook. That someone liked your page liked your photo on Instagram.
And that's a setting in Instagram.
That's a setting
in
in
your
Instagram.
Facebook sharing settings.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Instagram has some. Instagram. It's before they were even bought by Facebook. It was like Facebook. Their settings page is really difficult to find and deep and long, and you have to really drill down to get to it. But if you just keep tapping, you'll just keep drilling down and get further and further into different settings for sharing, especially like for brand pages and that kind of thing. Really, really cool. So we already mentioned Statagram. That's one of my favorite third-party services to use with Instagram. Another one, and I'm just going to take this minute to talk about what I call the nerd machine. It's called IFTTT.com.
Oh yeah.
Oh, other fans.
Yeah,
This
and
and
.com. I call it the nerd machine. It stands for if this, then that. So, and there's a whole bunch of channels in there, and it's set up so you can have it read your Instagram feed, for example, and then when it sees that you posted a new photo to Instagram, it will take that photo and put it on your WordPress blog, or we'll drop it into a Google document, or put it into your Dropbox, or put it into your Evernote, or. It's really cool. Beyond what you can do with Instagram itself, and Instagram lets you do Flickr, Facebook, and Twitter, and Tumblr. But you can go actually beyond that using ifttt.com, which is really cool. One of my favorite things. Another neat feature of Instagram that I like to use is actually the geotagging. Especially if you're doing it for a brand, it's cool when you can actually put a location on the photo, and then your users can actually go and look at a map. And like I just said, I did this really long. Good morning. I did this really long road trip across the United States, and at the end of it, I was able to pull up my Instagram app, and I could see photos all the way where we were across this little map, and it was really, really neat. And all my fans thought that was really cool too. And I said, "Oh, look, you're in my area. Oh, I can see all the pictures that you took while you were in my part of town, or my part of the United States, or my part of the world," which is really cool stuff.
If you have a camera with built-in GPS, will it automatically pull that out of the
I'm not sure.
EXI?
It will. I don't know if it'll pull like what Instagram uses Foursquare as its back end to tell it where it's at. So I'm not sure how Foursquare reacts to the exit data off of photos from your regular camera when exit data is provided if you have the GPS bit enabled. I know it'll know. I know it works off your phone because your phone knows where you are. Android and iPhone. And there's a lot of people that do that. Well, you have a question? Oh, you're just scratching your ear. Okay. There are some people, like Patrick, for example, right now, he's using his big real camera to post to Instagram. And that's really cool, but keep in mind that there's no zooming ability in Instagram. There's no way to enlarge the photos. I mean, you're looking at it on on the screen that's this big, or if you got one of those big monster phones like you go, it's like a phone, it's like a small tablet. There's no tablet version of Instagram. So keep that in mind. If you're going to send a 16 megapixel photo to Instagram, it's only going to show up on the screen.
So wait, are you saying that? Because I have Instagram on my tablet.
Yeah.
So.
It's on. Is it Android tablet? I've not put it on Android tablet. I just know iPad. Yes.
I've noticed though that like when I take a picture on my camera through like iPhoto
Yes.
or Camera Plus and then bring it into Instagram,
Yes.
it will ask me to scale it.
Yes.
So if you take it without using Instagram, you can scale your photo that way.
Correct.
So.
You can pinch to zoom and scale or crop because it does give you a hard crop line as big as the image can be when you actually go to import an image. So scaling it is nice. Just keep that in mind. Yes.
I'm gonna share an awesome app with everybody.
Oh, really? Great.
It's Instagram. It's called Square Ready.
Oh.
It is an iPhone app. I don't know if there's an Android version, but it's an iPhone iOS app.
Dude, I know exactly what that's going to do.
So for vertical pictures, right?
Yeah.
Take a vertical picture. You got to try to fit that into a square.
Yeah.
By default, like you said, you've got to. It'll put borders, white, black, whatever color you want. I usually do white by default because then it just blends with Instagram's background.
Yeah.
And you can do a full-size vertical photo in the square.
Dude, that's cool.
It's brilliant.
What's that called again?
Square Ready.
Square
There's a
Ready.
free version and then there's a pro version for like 99 cents. And the pro version gives you a few more cropping options and whatnot. I just bought it just to support it because it was so awesome.
Dude, that sounds rad.
It's sweet.
Square Ready.
Not Android.
Not Android?
Sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah,
There are
some
other
of
apps that do the same thing in Android.
Oh wait, maybe it's Square Radio on one foot.
It is.
Yeah, this is.
Who watched the Saturday Night Live? Excellent. Did you watch this last Saturday, Saturday Night Live? There was actually an Instagram reference. It was the girl that you don't want to have a conversation with at the party. She pulled her iPhone out of the phone and she just opens up Instagram. She just goes like that. She goes, "That's for Instagram." And then she puts it back in and she kept going with whatever. It was really kind of neat. I was excited about it. But that's Instagram. There's not a whole lot to talk about. You take a picture, you share the picture. Yeah, okay, so it does work on your Android tablet. That's cool. Yeah. Nice. Nice. My default camera app on the iPhone, I actually use Camera Plus, and I bring in photos in from Camera Plus all the time, and I just resize the shape or whatever. But you can import any photo that you like as long as it's in your camera bucket, your photo bucket, which is nice, like I already mentioned. And there's a whole bunch of third-party apps that you can use. There's other third-party services as well besides Statagram and IFTTT. If you just search for best third-party Instagram apps, you'll find zillions of them. Just the best way to do it is find one that works for you and just stick with it. Develop like anything else, develop a workflow. So, okay, I'm in Instagram mode. This is how I do Instagram. I'm not gonna spend hours and days and months tweaking and fussing and fiddling with apps and other miscellaneous bullshit that's gonna keep you from taking a picture and sharing it with your followers, right? Just like anything else that I do. Keep it simple, find a way that works, and just do it. Who has questions? Yes?
What do you recommend for growing your following?
Hashtags help.
Without being a hashtag word.
Without being a hashtag word, share it everywhere that you have a following now. So you now have public Instagram links, so it's instagram.com/your username. Put that as a link everywhere. Share it on your blog, share it on your Facebook page, share it on Twitter. If you have Google+, put it as one of your properties on Google+. Any place where you would normally share links to other things that you do, share that link. Instagram.com/your username. They just turn that on. And then if you want like a fancy button or something like that, if you go to Statagram, they'll give you cool icons that you can use. It takes you to the Statagram page instead, but that's still kind of. And they have contents over there. Facebook I found is usually the best way to do it because everybody there is already on Instagram kind of anyway. And Facebook, when you share to Facebook, it pipes in the Instagram URL, which people can then touch and see your page, which is nice. For my brand page, we didn't have an Instagram, and then I started it for that event, and within 3 weeks, we had almost 300 followers. So, and all we did was post with pictures of Facebook and Twitter. That's it. You'll find that once you start posting items, that you'll start gaining followers, which is nice. And people on your Facebook should just automatically see you there. You'll become Insta-famous. Yes, Patrick?
I know you said you could post to a page from Instagram, you can select it. I believe that is iOS only.
Oh, really? Yeah, that wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, which is really sad because as soon as I was able to do that, I was blown away. And that's in your profile settings. We're actually going to drill down into that again. Because it's possible to find. You have to go into You have to go into settings, and then you have to go into share settings, and then you go to Facebook, and then from this page, you can actually, if you have an iPhone, it might not, like Patrick said, it might not work on Android. You can actually choose. Right now, it says wall by default, and then you touch that, and it'll bring you to a Facebook page, and it's like, okay, here, I can now share it with any of the Facebook properties that I'm managing. Android doesn't do that? That's sad. That makes me really sad. Sorry.
It took like 100 million users before we got it.
I know. It's pretty good now. But if you have an iPhone, this is amazing. Especially if you're taking pictures for your brand. Anyway, Instagram, it's all about, it's not the fuzzy filters. It's not the anything, pictures of your food. It's a delivery method. From here, I mean, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Flickr, and Foursquare. Right there. Yes, sir.
Any thoughts on Instagram versus Pinterest?
2 different services, 2 different things.
But you can still share all your photos there.
But you have to take the photo first. You have to take the photo so you can get it over to Pinterest. So it's 2 different things. And you can't share directly to Pinterest from Instagram. You might be able to using IFTTT. You might be able to pin something from, you're going to be able to pin a photo from Instagram to your Pinterest. But from what I'm not a big Pinterest user, but from what I understand, this sounds a little bit self-serving. And from what I understand, Pinterest is not really about self-promotion so much. And, so you can do it if you get the pin it link, and if you're on somebody's Instagram page or even your own Instagram page, instagram.com/your username. Open a photo, pin it. Yes?
What do you find to be the most effective times for engagement?
Like I said, there's not really, that doesn't exist on Instagram because people They use Instagram, they're sitting on the sofa between commercial breaks looking at their Instagram. Lunchtime, they need to look at something that's not the spreadsheet on their computer, so they'll pull up on their phone and look through Instagram. I have found that there really is, 2 o'clock in the morning, you might get lost, maybe. But if you're just posting during the day, I'll post a photo at 7 o'clock in the morning, and by noon I'll have 30 likes. So that's a picture of a mini, and many people are weird on Instagram. They really
Many
are.
people just kind of lose.
We really are. We really are.
Now, do you know of any rumored upcoming features for these?
I don't. I'm not that. That's a great question, Patrick, and I should have had you ask me that last week, Paul. Because then I could have been more better. Instagram is a Facebook property, as everybody knows, owned by Facebook. And as soon as I heard that Facebook had bought Instagram, I was instantly saddened.
Yeah.
As were many Instagram users, thinking that it would go away or become ruined or awful or horrendous or just overall bad. And so far, that is not the case. Not going.
They're taking the Disney model, they're buying things and spending.
Exactly. Exactly. So does anybody use that Facebook photo app? Wow. Nobody's used the Facebook photo app.
Used it or using it?
Use it. Use it.
I've used it.
You've used it?
Yes.
I was.
Is it really? Oh gosh. It's horrible. So don't worry about it. It only goes to Facebook.
Well, they're integrating it into the regular app.
Yeah. And I guess Twitter's supposed to be coming out with a photo app as well.
With filters.
Yeah, with filters. Again, too little, too late, I think. Instagram's it. Instagram's got this really strong API. You can use your Instagram photos with anything. If you're taking photos with the iPhone 4S or one of the newer Android phones that have high resolution camera, you'll actually can get some really nice photos out of Instagram. But looking at them on Facebook, you would disagree with me. But if you were to look at your Instagram photos that you post, if you post one with Flickr, for example, and look at them full resolution, some of them will sometimes you'll be surprised that they're suitable to print. I'm getting ready to. My girlfriend and I have a stack that we're going to print, frame, all kind of things. Exactly. Or you just take pictures of your food and your cats. It's entirely up to you.
There's a lot of pictures.
There's a lot of pictures on my Instagram. A lot of pictures of cars.
I didn't expect that.
Oh yeah. Did you search TechPHX? So Instagram uses tags like we mentioned, and you don't want to be a tag whore. But if you want to be part of the conversation for an event like for TechPHX, tag it, TechPHX. Because then people can, it works just like it does on Twitter or Google+. So if somebody sees, oh look, TechPHX, I'm going to touch that, and then boom, there's all the photos that every person that has tagged TechPHX has taken, except for photos that were taken by protected accounts. So if you have a protected account, it doesn't do any good to use hashtags. It doesn't, not even a little bit. It's for people who only are using it for personal uses. You just want to share photos only with your family or people that you know, that you have met in person. You've shaken their hand, look at them in the eye. That's why you have a protected account. There's people that are afraid of the internet too. The internet's a scary place. It's a big, bad, scary place.
Protected accounts is where all the porn lives.
Oh.
Wow, mine is very avoidable.
Okay, there you go. So you just gotta find who's got the good protected accounts.
No, number one hashtag on Instagram.
XXX.
No filter.
No filter. Yeah. I use it all the time. A lot of people will do that. You just tag is this one doesn't have a filter. No filter. There's if you go to like a site like Statagram, you can actually see what the most popular tags are. And if you want to try to you're looking to build followers, for example, if you take pictures that can incorporate those tags within those categories, that might help. Like food porn is a good one. Yeah, that's a good one too. I've got a lot of followers using the food porn tag. It's a popular tag. And don't use it all the time because you made a can of chicken noodle soup or ramen noodles and you take a picture and go food porn. That's not food porn.
So I shouldn't take a picture of you.
No, because I'm not food porn.
There's a lot of spam on Instagram.
There's a ton of spam on Instagram, there's spam everywhere though. There's spam on Twitter, there's spam on Instagram. People come in and say, hey, follow me and you'll get more followers. And you know what, when you follow them, you don't get any more followers. You really don't. Those are the people that are trying to make money on Instagram. And There's no way you can make money on Instagram. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, for those who came in late, you can't generate inbound links from Instagram. You really can't generate revenue directly from Instagram. You can't use Instagram to create a landing page, or a link to a landing page to generate leads. Instagram is to engage your followers. That's it, to share pictures. That's what we do. And sharing pictures is pretty powerful. It keeps you fresh in people's minds, especially on the ground level. And it keeps them engaged with what you're doing. It gives them a reason to touch the screen when you show up, or to click a like button, or to retweet something that you post on Twitter. Very, very cool thing to have. And it's also a good record. You can come back later.
Do you understand the Explore feature?
The Explore feature?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it's like a way to discover people to follow.